I'm standing here, but I feel I'm not ready to speak. I'm not going to say a Hesped, because I think the Rebbe left B'tzavah, there shouldn't be any Hespedim. But we're going to say over as a Talmud what we learned from him, what we saw from him. He taught us Mahalach Halimud, Mahalach HaChinuch, and Mahalach HaChaim. I think all of us who knew him could see. I knew him for 52 years, and it was a mensch that he didn't live for himself. He lived for Yanim, always to help Yanim. On the other hand, as busy as he was, he always had time to learn with his children. And that's something that I learned from him. I don't know if I was Mekayim the way he did, but in the early days when he was the Paisik in Yeshiva, and everything was, every tzara and every problem was at his hands. How many times did I walk into his office, and he was learning either with not only with the boys, but a lot of times I would come in, he's learning either with Nechama or with Rivki. He always found time to learn with his children. And it wasn't only his real children, but everybody was his child. It's something that I'm sure he learned from the Chazon Ish, is that anybody that came to ask to learn with him, he learned with him. I remember when I went to Eretz Yisrael to visit him, so I come in, and he's learning with a 10-year-old boy. So I asked him afterwards, what's the story? Oh, he lives in the building. Yeah. And his mother asked him to learn with him. So he's learning with this 10-year-old boy. When the rabbi came back to America, he didn't go back to Eretz Yisrael. I think in the last 10 years that he was here, except once. He went back to the chasana from this 10-year-old boy that he learned with when he was 10 years old. He told us over many times how the Chazon Ish didn't have a yeshiva, this and that, but whoever came to him to ask him to learn, he told us over that there was he used to go to the Chazon Ish all the time, and Bein Astorim, and there was nobody there. The Chazon Ish took him right away. He comes one time, and there's somebody there, a bracha, and he says, "No, you can't go in." All right, so figured maybe he's not feeling well, this and that. He came back the next day, same thing, didn't let him in. So finally somebody told him, go later at night, maybe that guy is not there. Okay, that's what he did, and of course he got into the Chazon Ish, so he asked the Chazon Ish, who's this guy, this new the Rash Bahak? So he said, the mother brought him to me, and she said that she's afraid he's going to go out l'tar b'sra. So she asked the Chazon Ish what to do. So the Chazon Ish said, leave him by me, and I'll make him important. And so we asked the Rebbe, what happened to that guy? He says, today he's sitting in Bnei Brak, and all the Chazon Ish ask him if they want to know how the Chazon Ish at Tzefkefet, they go and they ask him. That's what happened to that kid. like I said, he was there for everybody except for himself. Yeah, he was always there. I once complained to him that my son, he doesn't tie his shoes. His shoes are always open. Yeah, and it bothers me. His shoes are always open. So okay. He said, don't worry about it. I think it was 6 months later. Yeah, 6 months later, after Marav, I was there with my son, and the Rebbe's in the office. He hears noise outside in the hallway. So he opens up the door, and he sees me and my son, and he looks down at my son's shoes, and of course the shoes are untied. Yeah, the Rebbe bent down and tied his shoes, and said, "Let's see how long you can keep them tied." Yeah. Yeah. There was a time when he gave a share. When he learned with us, yeah, what I said before, he taught us how to, the derech halimud. It wasn't a derech of teaching. It was a derech of how to learn together. He never learned with us like he was like a Rebbe and you were the Talmud. Yeah? It was always, we're learning together with B'chavrusa Shaf. Even though he finished Shulchan Aruch at least 1,000 times, yeah? He probably knew about Peh. It was as if, when he learned it with us, as if it was the first time. And because of that, he always found a new Chiddush. And I think he gave it over to his sons also. Arnie used to learn with my son, yeah? And that's how they used to learn. They learned the Navi. They learned Navi together, not like a Chavrusa. Right? I mean, like a Chavrusa, not like a Rebbe to a Talmud. He's much older than my son. In fact, when the Rebbe used to send my son out of class for whatever reason, yeah, the Rebbe used to open up the door and ask him shot because that's how well they knew the Navi. Another thing we learned from him was his emeskite. He was so stark in that it's not shaykh. When they bought the house on 2nd Street, I think the price was $140,000. Yeah, I think so, no? $140,000. Okay, there was a doctor and a lawyer that had offices in the back, and they had in the contract that whoever offers any amount for the house, they could match it, and they'll get it. Yeah. Okay, there's such a clause. Those are in real estate. I don't know exactly what the clause is. Okay, so Lamaisa, it was going for $140,000, and the rabbi offered that amount, yeah. And when the doctor and the lawyer saw it was $140,000, they said it's too much for us. We don't want it. The rabbi, after a few days, was thinking to himself, Lamaisa, the Mr. Zinkin, who owned the house, was giving back $20,000 as a donation, right? So Batsim, he's only paying $120, not $140. Maybe the doctors for $120, if they know the price is really $120, yeah, that they'll want the house. So he went and he told the doctor and the lawyer that he's really only paying $120. She's giving back a donation of $20,000. Oh, so they said, then we want the house. So they want the house. So it was going to go to them. And that's it. We're going to look for something else. What happened was they came in the winter and the pipes froze. In those days it was cold in Lakewood. And the pipes froze. And the part where the rabbi anyway had to gut to make the base medrash got all flooded, yeah. And it didn't make a difference really to him because anyway they were doing it over. But the doctors and the lawyer said, "Well, Mali Yatzara Azais, what do we need this whole headache for? We'll stay with our offices in the back and let him have the house." And the Maisa, you see, Mina Shemayim, he got the house. Why? Because of emes. You have to be emes. I don't know if he really did, yeah, that he had to say that she was, Mrs. Incan was mad that because she wanted to sell it to the rabbi. I took him to New York once, and this is a side I learned from him, and I tried to emulate him. We know the Rebbe wrote his own Sefer Torah. Rav Aaron Sonnenschein wrote the Sefer Torah for him. And a few years later, he found some more learning. He found some more hidurim that he wanted. So he wanted to write another Sefer Torah. So I took him to New York, and I took him to the Sefer, and I took him inside. I didn't listen to what they were talking, this and that. When he came out, I asked him, "No, so you signed the contract? You're writing another Sefer Torah?" So he said, "No." So I said, "Why not?" He wants too much money. Yeah, he wants too much money. So I said, "Why don't you handle with him?" Yeah, I'm sure you'll handle with him. You'll get it cheaper. So he says, "By a mitzvah, you're not allowed to handle." That's what he said. You're making the mitzvah billig. You're making it cheap. You're cheapening the mitzvah. I can't afford it. It's too much money for me. So I can't afford it. I can't buy it. But to go handle, to make the mitzvah cheaper, that you're not allowed to do. How many times did we go to buy an esrog? Yeah, and we handle with the seicha, right? Because, that to make it cheaper. Who would think that you're making the mitzvah billig? We learned from him Hasmada, yeah? It bothered him so much, bittul in the middle of his man. We know the Maisa with the Shlomo Zalman, with the menorah, Hanukkah. They told him, if you don't want to stay and light later, then you'll light later, or you'll let your wife light. And that's exactly what happened. One person went to ask Rav Shlomo Zalman, and Rav Shlomo Zalman said the same thing, that if you don't want to light after the Seder, then you should let your wife light for you. Yeah. As you do in Eretz Yisrael in the Koilel, where was the coffee machine? Where's the coffee? In the middle of the Beis Medrash. Not in the corner where you'll go there and you'll schmooze in another room and come back half an hour later. Yeah? The coffee, you want a coffee? In the middle of the Beis Medrash. Two more things I want to mention. When he left Eretz Yisrael, we made a Sudas Preda for him. And I said by the Sudas Preda, there was a Maisa, there was a Rav. And nobody was coming to him. Finally, somebody came to him to ask him a shayla. So he asked the guy, "How come nobody comes to me?" So the person told him, "I'll tell you a story. There were two towns. One had a tall clock, like in the Lakewood town, in the town hall, in the yard over there, there's a tall clock. And the other town had a short clock. In the tall city, guy walks by the clock. He looks at his watch. He looks at the clock in the town, and he sees he doesn't have the same time as the clock. So what does he do? He can't reach the clock in the town. It's too tall. So what does he do? he adjusts his clock to, in the other town, it was a short clock, yeah, and the time wasn't the same. The time wasn't the same, so he adjusted the town clock that it should be the same like him. He said, when the Rav is a grosser mensch, and you can't reach the Rav, right? You have to adjust yourself to the Rav, yeah. Leider today, many Rabbonim, it's the other way around. They're not so, maybe they're not so big. So what do? What? They let the people adjust the Rav to them. He taught us that you have to be stark, and if it's the emes, if it's the right thing to do, right? He taught us that we have to adjust to him, not he adjusts to us. I want to end off with, I always wondered, why does the Eibusher, a person that has dementia, why does the Eibusher leave him in the world? What for? But in the past 2 years, I understand very well. Going to visit him, Saifa was in the house, Saifa was in the nursing home, Saifa was in the hospital. He was in a matzah which he always held. It was a shita. If you could learn, you learn. You're in a matzah if you can't learn. So then you say Tehillim. So even in his dementia, for 2 years, he laid in bed and said Tehillim from cover to cover. He finished again and again and again. Who knows what he took off with that Tehillim? We don't know. That's why we need him in the world. Even in his matzah, we still need him now. Because who knows? The state of the Tehillim never goes leibud. The Eibusher keeps it under the kisei cover and he uses it. Who knows? Maybe in some place in California, somebody needs a Yeshua, needs a refuah. I met the administrator of Goldstein in the nursing home. So I heard that the rabbi is going home. So I said, oh, I'm so happy the rabbi is going home. So he says to me, no, we don't mind if he stays here. Why? He's an example to usually people in this state. What do? They scream and they yell and they curse, yeah? And he lays there with his Tehillim and says Tehillim. He's a beautiful example. Now I understood why the Eibusher keeps such people on the Welt. For us to see, to learn from. Again, he was put on this Welt, not for himself, but to help everyone. And whoever came to him. When I came to yeshiva, Taka came and he helped me. And then I took care of Chaim and Avram in camp. So he wanted to pay me when I came back. I learned with Chaim's Pshetel in camp. So he wanted to pay me. I said, I don't want to take any money. So he said, if you ever need anything, just come to me. And I always told him that was the biggest mistake he ever made. May be I didn't stop bothering him. May be a mesorah for the Rebbetzin and the ganze Mishpacha. The Rebbetzin soll sein gesund, and Chaim soll sein gesund. And it should be a mesorah for us, for the Talmidim, and for ganz Klal Yisrael.